the guy. If John Sweeney is hunting you, be careful because he's going to get you. Well, he was hunting Tommy, but Tommy captured him. Tommy, you bagged him. I've never heard of such a turnabout ever.
So your viewers understand. He was the face. He's the face. He is Panorama, and Panorama can go on to make more shows. They've lost all their credibility. Everything they've ever done must now be questioned because we proved that they were staging things, setting things up, telling people what to say in interviews about me. They were working. This documentary was supposed to finish me. When it didn't, we've seen the course of events. When it didn't, when I produced my documentary, in 24 hours, I was made invisible to the world. I was removed from all social media. I was banned from all social media. And then within a week of all of this, they relaunched their charges against me for the second time and subsequently got me put back in prison in Belmarsh, which I was released, I think, 2 weeks ago from.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, when I saw this on Twitter, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that he was gone. I couldn't believe that he was blaming you. And I know that this will not be covered in the mainstream media because they don't want to acknowledge the scandal that you documented in Panodrama. Well, listen, I wanted to have you on to say congratulations about that. But while we have you, this is the first time you and I have talked since you got out of prison. And I take it you've had a chance to renormalize with your family, with your friends. Can you give us a bit of an update on what you're doing in terms of projects? Do you have any news for your fans in North America?
I do. Ezra, to be honest, this is the first time I've done anything. I wanted to come out of prison. And, in fact, I came out of prison and I attempted to do a couple of things. And when I come out of prison last year, I'd done months of solitary confinement, and then the next day I went on holiday for 2 weeks.
Right.
So I continued to lay down next to a pool for 2 weeks. So I continued to, when I come out this time, I tried to go full on into doing everything I wanted to do and going everywhere I wanted to go. And I think I should have had a bit more relaxed time and time down to get back into it. So and I realised that myself when I attempted to do a couple of things. So I want my children. I haven't been at home. I've been away. I missed last summer. I missed this summer. I want my children to feel secure.
Yeah.
When I was in prison this time, I was getting stories of how my son was, if there was a noise, he was scared. So I just want them to feel that daddy's home. I've been literally taking my children to school. I've been taking them to, my son goes boxing a few times a week. He plays football. My daughters go dance. I've just made sure I want them to feel that I'm home and I'm here and that they feel secure again. When it comes to work, I've got so many plans, ideas for documentaries. I've got one nearly finished, which was Shalom, which was to show about a Jewish gentleman in London it's a British man who was persecuted to death. So I've got that.
Yeah.
But I've spoke publicly about the Rape of Britain, but the reason why I haven't started the Rape of Britain yet is to do that documentary. I need to move into these towns and cities. I need to move into for 3-4 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do that. I'm happy to do that. It's also a risky. As soon as I go there, it's quite a high risk of confrontation, and I know that. It's quite a high risk of police pressure. They will want to stop me. I know all of that. So I've already made a conscious decision to start that after Christmas. Yeah. For the sake I've sort of come to a little agreement with my wife that up until after Christmas is when I'll go on the road. But I have got another documentary, Ezra, and I know this is going to go bang as well. I'm going to categorically prove to people and actually confront the liars of the fake news. I've got six different people, 6 different stories, 6 different broadcasters, with evidence that I can categorically prove they're completely lying and have been for many years about myself. So that's one of the things I want to work on, just because you know what it is? So many people who follow my story, you know who I am. You know what's happened. You follow the details of what's happened. People who don't know, so I have supporters across the UK who, when they mention me to their friends or their family or colleagues or anything like that, they get a bad reaction. And that bad reaction is because of the hit job that the corporate media have been doing against me for a decade. Right. And I'm sitting there now, Ezra, watching the way Boris Johnson is under attack.
Right.
And I'm sitting thinking, you're being Tommy Robinson's.
Yeah.
You've got a woman. You've now got groping claims against him. This is from a lady who's, if I'm right, her husband is in media, who's part of the Remain camp. So all of these things, all of the things I've seen against me. Boris Johnson, if you now follow certain media, is an extremist. He's a group of thugs. He's a racist. He's a bigot. He's a sexual deviant. All of these things, which I'm sitting there thinking, I'm wondering if Boris is feeling this, and Geoffrey Cox, because Geoffrey Cox was the Attorney General who pushed the charges against myself.
Right.
I was convicted in a political decision by a court that was political.
Right.
And I sat there grinning and smiling, when the Supreme Court made a political decision against the Conservative government.
Right.
And I just sat and thought, well, how does that feel? Because you know it's not right, the decision they've made. You know they're not following the law. You know they're making a decision based on their politics to go against you. And it's exactly what Geoffrey Cox done. And I don't know if you watched Geoffrey Cox's speech the next day in Parliament after this decision. And as much as I feel aggrieved with what I feel Geoffrey Cox and the British government have done to me, he gave an amazing speech.
Yeah, I saw that. Here, let's just play a quick clip of it. We'll just put it right here. Take a look.
This Parliament is a dead Parliament. It should no longer sit. It has no moral right to sit on these green benches. Twice they have been asked to let the electorate decide upon whether they should continue to sit in their seats, while they block 17.4 million people's votes. This Parliament is a disgrace. Let me tell them the truth. They could vote no confidence at any time, but they're too cowardly. They could agree to a motion to allow this House to dissolve, but they're too cowardly to give it a go. This Parliament should have the courage to face the electorate. But it won't. It won't, because so many of them are really all about preventing us leaving the European Union at all. But the time is coming. The time is coming, Mr. Speaker, when even these turkeys won't be able to prevent Christmas.
Well, Tommy, I saw that, and it is ironic that the same men who were prosecuting you are now themselves being persecuted by being demonized by the same establishment. Well, listen, my friend, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. You got a lot of fans in Canada, the United States, around the world. I'll continue to follow your cases. If you're ever in a court situation, I'll come over there, because our viewers like to read the live tweets from the court, because they just don't trust the mainstream media to report on what's going on.